We've all been there. You're making real progress and bam, now you have run up against a wall and you have no idea what to do. So in this video, this is the second part of the two-part series on how to unstick yourself when you're doing AI development. So as a recap for part one, make sure that you're always using Git for everything, regardless of whatever project that you're working on. Git is going to make your life a lot easier because you'll be able to go back, revisit what you did before, and if you need to roll back, actually go back in time and literally replay some of the code that you wrote or that your AI agent wrote before for you. Also, make sure that you roast your repo relentlessly everywhere. Every single week, you should be roasting your repo because AI, regardless of which AI development agent you use, can go off the rails if you're not careful. Now, yes, you should be checking the code that you check into your code base, but let's be honest, we all just sometimes give in to the vibes and just let things go into the code base to get it done, especially if you're going to be releasing a new feature very soon. If you're doing this as a solopreneur, also make sure that you're using a good linter as well. If you're blanking on any of this stuff, go back to the previous video that I released earlier in this week that talked about all this stuff, by the way. And you can also find out some more specific things and look at detailed views on how all this stuff actually works as well. But as a closeout to the part one recap, static analysis tools are a game changer, and mine particular is a JetBrains specific tool. Kadana. I butcher the name all the time, but it is a visual way to see problems inside of your code base that you need to go back and fix. Also, if you aren't using skills to interrogate your repo, and that's basically how I'm roasting my repo, use skills to actually look inside of the repo and do this work for you so you don't actually have to do it. Do all this, again, I can't stress this enough, do all this pre-ship before you do any work, regardless of whatever it is. If it's a small feature or a large feature, always do this work. Make sure that you're roasting your repo, interrogate everything, and then commit commit relentlessly. Sorry. But again, this video is a post-ship video. So we're going to talk about all the things that you should do now that your now that your project is actually inside of production. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I appreciate it. We're building a community that allows us to use development and AI and development specifics and business and all that kind of stuff to buy back time inside. If that sounds cool to you, hit that subscribe button. And like I said, this is the Coding Shield. My name is Joe. And again, we use automation and dev to buy back time inside of our lives. So logging is the thing that you will want to make sure that you have inside of your project once it's live. Because if you don't know what's going on and you don't know that there are things going on, you'll just be blind and your users will go away. So make sure that you have PostHog. If nothing else, PostHog is a good starting place. I also would recommend Datadog as well, but I can't recommend them on the channel right now because I don't actually have a signed up account with them. So I'm not going to recommend it at the moment, but I would recommend PostHog. I do have a account with them. It is a pay as you go. You can start $0 for free, literally as you're developing and seeing what's going on. It also helps you in development as well. So PostHog is my go-to. The free tier gives you up to 1 million events a month. Again, a very generous free tier. Replaying is the difference between guessing and knowing what's going on inside of your product and inside of features that you just built inside of your product as well. So you need to know how users are actually using your product and all that kind of stuff. And I would also suggest, if you're not using Convex, maybe use Convex. If you are using Convex, make sure that you're using their log feature relentlessly. Well, to a point, because it's not as robust as you might like it to be, but it does get the job done. Now, in terms of PostHog, this is what PostHog actually looks like. And this is what it gives you. So you get sessions. I don't have anything attached to my PostHog at the moment. I literally just signed up. But if I had some live production landing pages and stuff like that for my business, this is where it would all come. I do have some things inside of Vercel, but it's not as verbose as this is. So this is going to give you sessions, and literally you'll be able to play back the individual sessions of your users and seeing how your users are actually using your product. That's a game changer. That's going to help you not only fix problems, but also make things better for the future users that you're going to have as well. So if I haven't said that enough, and then also my new favorite toy is Factory.ai, is a agent native software development toolkit, I like to call it. It does allow you to have things inside of your terminal. They have a desktop or web version, CLI. You can do everything inside of Slack if you want to as well. I use the terminal IDE version. I use it inside of all of my JetBrains products as well, and also inside of Slack, or not Slack, inside of VS Code at times. But this gives you the opportunity to create a remote machine, put your agents on a said machine, and then create 5 other ones at the same time, and all of them working on one feature or one project at the time, or at the same time, getting that project done faster. So not only does it give you the ability to look inside or have a continuous integration feel inside of your project for merge requests and all that kind of stuff, it opens up and makes sure that you are actually using Git correctly and doing the things that you're supposed to do, even though you're not sitting in front of your computer doing it all. But you also then get the opportunity to still review everything that the droids build for you, but you're not sitting and staring at a blinking cursor or waiting for something to actually or having something waiting on you to respond to actually get it done. So Factory AI, again, is one of those toys that if you're not using it, it's something that you probably want to look into using. That said, it does have a pretty hefty cost. So this is something that I have used or I am using, but I'm using it sparingly. And this is the reason why, because it does cost. You only have about, like for the pro usage, you have about 5 hours of CPU usage in terms of remote CPU usage. That for me may not make, it does kind of feel a little restricting for what you get. But if you're building something that's really complex and you don't want to babysit the entire build, this is one of the things that you can build or that you can pull out of your back pocket and say, hey, build this for me, have this feature done in a couple of hours, and then you're ready to go. So yes, there's a cost to it, but me personally, I do actually subscribe to it because I will need this in a future build for a feature that I'm planning to build in the next coming days. It's going to be a lot, and I already know that I'm going to build it, and I don't have a whole lot of time to actually build it. So I'm going to use Factory AI to actually do that and continuously integrate and develop and make sure that I'm not losing things along the way. So with all that said, when you want to pull all this together, make sure that you use Git, roast your repo relentlessly, use a linter, have static analysis so you can actually see what's going on inside your code base. And this is while you're developing, pre-ship, before you actually send out anything. Then once you're post-ship and once you're in production, use logs and CI to develop faster, but also understand what's going on inside of your code base. And this, like I said, is the second part of a 2-video series. If you haven't watched the first one, go back and watch the first video. I'll link it in the description. And without some further ado, if you like to build automation and use AI and all that kind of stuff inside of your life and build time back into your life, hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you around this community. And until next time, y'all be smooth. Blurt out.